So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Galaxy S8 Plus versus S9 Plus, which to buy. Now, I wanted to preserve this video for a little bit of time because the S8 Plus is a significant investment a lot of people made last year, and I want to make sure that we get the right, knowledge down here on this video as if it's worth to upgrade to the Galaxy S9 Plus, which I've also used for about a month now. So when you first get the phone, of course, an S9 Plus is going to feel nice. It's new, it's premium, but the more I've been using this phone and analyzing it, the more I think about how good the Galaxy S8 Plus really was for its time. And I say for its time like it's old. It's not even an old smartphone. But really what's really nice about the S8 Plus is that you're getting a lot of specs for the money now. So if you go on Amazon and you do check out like the latest prices for them, they've dropped significantly. And I wouldn't even personally recommend buying it over here on Amazon, because on Amazon what you have is you have a phone that's about only $100 or so less than the Galaxy S9 Plus. So it's about $519, $639. But really where the prices have come down is like third party, like eBay, or if you know people on the street who don't know the real value of this phone, they're selling it super cheap. So you can really get the S8 Plus at rock bottom prices now compared to the time it launched, and it's offering almost everything the Galaxy S9 Plus is offering besides that rear camera. So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the design. So coming from an S8 Plus to an S9 Plus, actually it felt less sleek. The S9 Plus feels less sleek to me than the S8 Plus. The S8 Plus has a more smooth feel in the hand. It's a little bit taller, but it feels a little more sleek than the Galaxy S9 Plus. Now the S9 Plus, while a little bit shorter, a little bit wider, it feels slightly sharper to me in the corners. So overall, the ergonomics, while they're a little bit wider, Samsung did put a fingerprint on the rear in the right place this time, so you don't have to like reach up anymore. So that's an ergonomic nightmare for the S8 Plus. So that makes the S9 Plus easier to reach the middle of the back. So I do like that. But being a little bit shorter, it's also easier to reach the top. However, I still think the S8 Plus felt a little more sleeker. I think that the S9 Plus, while not as smooth in the hand, might be the better one-hander. So if you're looking for a better one-hander, it's a nice upgrade to go from the S8 Plus to the S9 Plus. Even though it's wider, it's still easier to one hand because it's shorter. But if you're thinking about buying one of them, which one should you buy? Just know that the S9 Plus just feels ergonomically a little bit more comfortable than the S8 Plus, but the S8 Plus is not super hard to use. And if you think it is, just get the smaller S8. You'll be just as happy. They're about the same exact phone. In terms of weight though, the S9 Plus did something that I don't really like when phones do, and that's increase in weight. Now I know a lot of people associate, heavier phone with more premium, but I kind of like, a phone in my pocket to be light, and going up from like 173 grams to about 189 over here on the S9 Plus, I didn't really like that because I don't really want to carry a heavier phone. Slap a case on there, it's even heavier. And you can make those little weak comments. Oh, well, you're weak, you can't carry a phone, blah, blah, blah. That's shallow. Let's talk about the truth here. The truth is that, a lighter phone is more comfortable to rock on the day-to-day. And I don't care how strong you are. You could be muscle man, Macho Man Randy Savage, it doesn't matter. A lighter phone is just more efficient to carry on the day-to-day, especially if you're going out and you're doing stuff. You got your cameras, you got your gear, all that stuff. A lighter phone just makes life easier. So talking about how the build has held up on both, well, they do scratch quite easily due to being the all glass design, but it never scratched so much that I was kind of upset about it. I mean, it doesn't scratch nothing on the sides here on the S8 Plus like it does on the iPhone 10. So I did get one up there at the top, as you can see, right behind the SIM card right there, right about there. So that one's scratched up, and I got a couple scratches already on the S9 Plus, which actually scratched a little bit quicker than the S8 Plus. So overall, I do think that these both should be babied if you're gonna keep them for a very long time, meaning put a screen protector on them, put a case on them. Definitely if you drop them from the rear, they are prone to cracking, but overall I think their build feels very sturdy, very premium, and definitely nothing like the Samsung of old. So buying either of these, you're going with a extremely premium phone. Both feel equally premium in the hand. So let's talk about software here on both phones. Now, both of them do offer Android 8.0 now. This S8 Plus is on 8.0, and the Galaxy S9 Plus is also on 8.0. If I go into the settings now on the S8 Plus, and let me go over here, you can see everything is identical. So we do have the same version here, Samsung Experience version 9.0 on both, and that really boosted the Galaxy S8 Plus up to a level where I felt like the S9 Plus might not even be worth it anymore. Now, if they never updated the software, it might have been worth it. But at the same time, once they updated the software, it felt almost even more like the same phone. So when it comes to that actual performance, even with Samsung Experience 9.0 and 8.0 Android on board, the S8 Plus still suffers from a slightly slower like speed. It just feels slower. Like when you're opening apps and things, it's just slightly slower. As you've seen right there, opening a calculator, coming home. It's just a step behind the Galaxy S9 Plus in performance, as it should be. It's a Snapdragon 835 with 4 gigs of RAM. Samsung bumps up the S9 Plus to 6 gigs of RAM and a Snapdragon 845, which I don't think is fully the reason why this got fixed. I think Samsung has been doing something with the optimization because they knew that people were upset about getting the Galaxy S8 and it having like little micro jitters and things like that. I'm happy to report that over a month use with the Galaxy S9 Plus, there is absolutely no lag, no micro jitters. This thing runs as intended, as it should, and that's been a really enjoyable experience. So when it comes to software, you know you're going to have a ton of features from Samsung. We're not going to go all over every one of those here. You got, dual screen modes, all kinds of things like that. You do have, all these settings up here in the notifications tray. I mean, you'll be finding things for months, but at the end of the day, the software is better performing on the Galaxy S9 and it's definitely felt. So if you want an extremely fast feeling performer, you're definitely going to want to just go with the S9 Plus. Even though it's a little bit more money, you will notice that difference. Now, one big difference here between both phones is the camera. So Samsung decided to stick a single camera lens on the S8 and S8 Plus, not really dividing the line too much last year. But this year they played an Apple move where they give you the dual camera on the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, and that's been really appreciated for you S series lovers and you don't want to use a note with a pen. You want to save a little bit of money instead of buying that phone because you never think you're going to use the pen. At least you're now getting that telephoto camera here on the S9 Plus, and I think that makes it worth it if you do really like using your camera on a phone like all the time. Also, I think the software is easier to use. I mean, you got to find things a little bit more. They're a little bit more buried here in the camera of the S8 Plus, and live focus mode comes here from the Note 8. You also have AR emoji, which is already old news. Nobody cares about that anymore. Panoramic right here in food modes, and it just keeps going on. You can download more stuff. Also, this thing can do super slow-mo at up to 960 frames per second. Now that is at 720p and it really is kind of hard to get the subject in focus, so it's not all that great, the super slow-mo. And you do get 4K 60 here. So in settings menu, if we go to UHD video size, you can see UHD 60 frames per second 4K. So the limit to this though is that it can only shoot for like 5 minutes. So that kind of sucks if you're trying to do like a cinematic little video with your phone and you're gonna run out at 5 minutes. That's kind of lame. But overall, I think that the cameras shoot almost identical photo quality. So let me go ahead and just take a photo of this S9 right here. Now, when it comes to the actual photo quality, you can see that it's almost identical on both. No matter which one you are using, you're gonna get a similar quality, especially in good light. I mean, it's almost hard to tell the difference, but when you do zoom in, you start to see a little bit more detail with that f1.5 aperture on the Galaxy S9 Plus. I mean, you're really gonna have to zoom in to see these details. So with that being said, if you do wanna save money and get the Galaxy S8, it's not like you're getting an outdated camera. This thing can stand toe to toe with most of the best phones on the market right now. Now, that front-facing camera on both phones is definitely a little bit soft. Some people prefer this, so I'm not gonna be, totally saying it's not good here because it is a pretty good selfie camera. It's just soft. And if you like that more detailed selfie look, it's a personal preference. You're not gonna like these phones. But if you do like a softer look where it doesn't show all the pimples and everything in your face, you probably will like the front-facing cameras on either one of these. So camera overall, I talked a lot about it. Definitely has to go to the Galaxy S9 Plus. Both of them do have expandable storage, and the selective focus is nowhere near as good as the live focus mode on the S9 Plus. So if you're just going strictly for camera, just get the S9 Plus. You'll be happier. If you know you're not going to be using camera like that, you just want it for a few snaps here and there, and even maybe some professional video, both of them can do it, at least phone professional video. They're both going to be good. So you really got to decide, do I need that dual camera? And do I need extremely crisp low light photos? So one area that the Galaxy S9 Plus stomps all over the S8 Plus is the audio. I'm not going to play any audio tracks right here, but we do have Dolby Atmos here included with this, Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. We have a speaker at the bottom. We have a speaker at the bottom of the S9 Plus. Both do have headphone jacks. I'm happy to see Samsung return with that with the S9 Plus. And there's a speaker up there. And let me tell you, this thing is loud. The Galaxy S9 Plus, the S8 Plus It's decently loud, but it's easy to cover that speaker and nowhere near at the quality of the S9 Plus. So if you're gonna upgrade in terms of speaker phone quality, you're definitely gonna want the S9 Plus, or even playing your music. Just get the S9 Plus, you'll be happy there. Let me cover a quick area that has been rather disappointing when it comes to the S9 Plus, and that is that the battery life is actually slightly worse than the battery life I was getting on the S8 Plus. Now, I'll trade that for the better performance, the better camera, but I'm saying about 30 minutes or so less than how the endurance was on the S8 Plus. Now, that just might be my experience, but that's what I've been experiencing, and that's not great to see a phone get updated and not have the same amount of battery life. So if you're looking for better battery life, get the S8 Plus. You might be happier here, but if you do some tweaks and stuff like that, you will like the S9 Plus. I mean, both of them are still going to get you through most of the day, but if you're heavy using either one of them, they both kind of drain fast, but they do make up for that with their fast charging capabilities. I mean, these phones charge extremely fast, and they do have wireless charging supported as well with their glass rears. So that always has made up for it for me. So when people say Samsung battery, whatever, it's weak, I don't really care, because I know that by the time I charge up my phone, your iPhone's probably dead. So that's why I really do appreciate the fast charging here on the Galaxy S9 Plus. So it doesn't really matter that the battery life doesn't always make it through the day, because that fast charging really makes you think, I don't really care, because I just put my phone on for 30 minutes and the thing's already fully charged, whatever. I'm just going to keep on going on with my day. So that really makes it up for having not the best battery life on either. But if you want one that's better, just get the S8 Plus. So that's it between the Galaxy S8 Plus and the S9 Plus. The phones are both really good smartphones. They're both really high quality design. They're both got great cameras. They both have fast charging. They're both sleek. They're both modern looking. But what have I enjoyed most about the upgrade to the S9 Plus? Well, it's basically its overall level of refinement. It's kind of like going from an iPhone 6 to a 6S. It's a nice jump in refinement. Like when you go to a better speed phone, like it just feels more speedy. It feels quicker. It feels like Samsung cleaned up the problems with the S8 Plus. But with Android 8.0 Oreo, they just made their S8 Plus better than before, and I would say it's not like such a huge gap anymore with the Oreo update on the S8 Plus. So overall, I think if you're looking for a great value, you definitely want to get the S8 Plus. It's still a really good smartphone. Now, the Galaxy S9 Plus is not a necessary purchase if you're just looking for your basic smartphone needs. I mean, this is more than enough for your basic smartphone needs, and it's going to cost you way less. I think the only people who really will appreciate the S9 Plus are people who want the best of the best. You want to be on the cutting edge of best cameras on a smartphone. You're actually going to use those cameras as your main primary camera. You want the best Samsung experience you've ever had on any Samsung smartphone, and you could really make the most use out of these. Or you're just on a plan where you have an easy way to upgrade. You know, it's just a jump program, or you got one of those upgrade programs with your carriers where why not just upgrade? Then it's a good deal. But for people who are paying outright, the S8 Plus might be all the phone you'll ever need at this current moment. And this is starting to become a trend where one-year-old flagships are just a really good bargain, and people are just skipping out on the latest and just waiting a year. Personally, if it was my money, I'm going with the S9 Plus just because, you know, I like to be on the cutting edge. But if you're looking for value, you can't go wrong with the S8 Plus. If you found this video helpful, enjoyable, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click that like button for me. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them down below in the comment section of this video. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.